So what we are doing, we are getting into Docker now. Let's understand what is a Docker here. So we are getting into Docker here. We are going to understand about the Docker here now. Now, first of all, we need to understand what is a Docker here. This terminology here, Docker. What Docker is? Docker is a containerization tool. Docker is what? Docker is a containerization tool. We discussed previously about the containers. What this container is doing? Container is something like this. This is my container, right? Container of salt, container of sugar, container of other spices. These are my different container. In this container, what we are doing? In this container, we are putting separate ingredients here. Same here, we are going to put within the container, we are going to run application here. Within the container, we are going to run application. This is my container number one. What this is my container number one. And in this container, what I'm doing, I'm running application one. In this container, I'm running another application here. In this container, I am running another application here. This is my container third. So what container is? So what container is? Providing separate environment for application to run. Here, what we are going to run? We are going to run this different application here. This is a different application. This is different application here. Here I'm going to run different application here. Here I'm going to run a different application. What containerization is? Containerization will provide a separate environment for application to run independent on each other. So if I say the container here means what if I'll say, what I'll do if I'll Google here. What I'll do here if I'll Google here means you can see here. If I'll Google here means in Google we can say like I'll do a Docker container. What I'm doing here, I'm doing a Docker container here. If I do a Google here, go Docker container, if I'll go to the image section here, you'll see something like this here. Docker image. Container here. Within the container, you are going to get what? You are going to run the application here within the container here like this. Container here. This is my container. Inside the container, you are going to run the application here. This is what we need to understand from here. Then let's get a little bit now. First of all, we need to understand what was the necessity of containerization tool. Why we need containers in the market. What was the necessity of containerization first of all. Now, as I discussed already, we discussed one time before. If I want to run the application, what is my requirement here? This is my application. I want to run the application. To run this application, what I need? What is my requirement here? I need library and dependencies according to my application. Something like this. I need library and dependencies here for my application to run. If library and dependencies are not there for my application to run, my application will not run in my environment. So where? On the window environment. So on window environment. And on different window environment, if I'm taking operating system here. What I'm writing operating system. To run any application, what I need library and dependencies to be installed on where? On operating system. And how many type of operating system we have? We know the Linux is one of them, or Windows is one of them. And apart from this, Mac OS is one of them. So these are different version of operating system what we have. So what we need to have, we need to install library and dependencies. What we need to do, we need to install library and dependencies as per our application. Whatever our application are, for that application to run, we need library and dependencies. And other than this, on which? On a different platform. On a different platform, if I'm talking about Linux, library and dependencies will be different. On Windows environment, library and dependencies will be different. On Mac OS environment, library and dependencies will be different. And below that's what we need. We need hardware. What we need here? We need hardware here. Hardware means, of course, processor, RAM, hard disk, processor, RAM, hard disk, these sorts of things we required. Basically, what we need hardware to be installed in our system. This is my hardware here. I'm just writing HW here. Hardware. This is my requirement here in a normal system. If I want to run application. Now, first of all, you need to understand one thing here, virtualization. You need to understand virtualization came into the picture actually. People need to understand what is it. virtualization here. Virtualization came into the picture. Why virtualization came into the picture? We need to understand here. Whenever I'm talking about hardware component for my application here, something like this, I have 1 terabyte of hard disk, HDD. I have 1 terabyte of hard disk. Apart from this, what I have a RAM of, I'm taking example of 16 gig, 16 GB RAM I have. Basically hardware resources, divide these hardware resources. In our on-premises, especially on on-premises environment, what we was doing before virtualization, I'm talking before virtualization. What we was doing, we was not using 100% of capacity of our hardware. If I'm talking about 16 gig of RAM here, what we are using? We are using 2 to 3 gig. 2 or 3 GB RAM we are using. Means whatever the hardware resources we had, we are wasting those hardware resources. 50 to 60% of hardware resources we are wasting here before virtualization. But one thing here, we already paid money for these resources here, but still we are wasting our resources here. Because of that reason, virtualization came into the picture. Now, what this virtualization tool did actually, I think you people have heard about the hypervisors. So hypervisor came into the picture, something like this. This is a hypervisor here. So what is this? Hypervisor here. I think you have heard about VMware administrator. So what this VMware admin, so what this VMware administrator are doing, they are working as a virtualization. They are working as a VMware administrator. Their task is here actually. They are providing virtualization for our this environment. Now this what this hypervisor are doing, they are providing virtualization means so 100% of the capacity, whatever the resources we have here, 1 TB of hard disk, 16 GB of RAM here, all the hard disk resources, whatever the resources, suppose we are running one application, this is another application, this is another application. So whatever the hardware resources we have here, that will be virtualized and we are using maximum hardware resources, something like this. This application will take 8 GB of RAM. This application will take 8 gig of RAM. This is what virtualization did. Virtualization divided hardware component, provided virtualization on a hardware level. So whatever the resources we was wasting here, those resources we are not wasting by using virtualization here. But one more thing here, one more problem here. What is the problem here? Now, whenever I'm talking about virtualization here, something like whenever I'm talking about virtualization here, in virtualization, there is one problem here. Whenever see here, what I'm doing here, of course, I'm using now what this application is doing. This application is using hardware component of my host. Basically, this is my host here. This is my host here. Something like, let me take example of virtual machine now. What we are doing in a virtual machine? What we are doing in a virtual machine, we are running application inside the virtual machine. But what we required? We required operating system and hardware. Now virtualization, virtual machine is one of the example of virtualization tool. Virtualization, one of the example of virtualization. Now I have a hardware here. Above hardware, what I have operating system here. Above operating system, I am running application here. But one drawback here of virtualization. Whenever, okay, we are virtualizing our hardware component. Whatever the hardware component, we are utilizing those 100%. But what about operating system? Suppose what we are doing, I'm creating 100 BM. What I'm doing, I'm creating 100 BM or 5 BM. Let me take an example of only 5 virtual machine. If I'm taking a 5 virtual machine means for each virtual machine, what they are going to do? Of course, they are going to take a host operating system, host hardware component. They are taking host hardware component here like this. They are taking host hardware component. What about operating system? We are not virtualizing operating system. We are virtualizing only hardware. To run each and every VM here, virtual machine, what we need a separate operating system here. This operating system, for this machine, I need operating system here. For this machine, I need a separate operating system here. This machine, I need a separate operating system here. Before, where was our expenses? Expenses was here on our hardware level because we was wasting our hardware resources. We was wasting our hardware resources. Because of that, hypervisor or virtualization tool came into the picture. Now, one problem here is we are virtualizing hardware component, but we are not virtualizing our operating system. So now here we was wasting money. Now here we are putting money. See, operating system is not for free. We need to put money for the licensing. Of course, we need to put money for the operating system. If you are taking in your desktop, if you are creating copy or something here, that is a different. But if you are configuring end-to-end application, that is not possible here. So what is not possible? That is not possible here. You have to put money for the licensing. Same here. So here we was wasting money. Now here we are putting money. Because of this reason, because of this limitation here, containerization came into the picture. Now, what is the concept of containerization here? Let's understand. Containerization means this is my, again, see, if I want to run the application, what I need? Of course, I need what? What I need operating system and hardware. But containers work on a different technology. This is my container. Docker means container, container means Docker. Docker is organization who is providing containerization. Please understand. This is my container. Now this, what this container will do, container means application container. You will understand what I meant by application container. I am talking about application container. This is my application container here. Now, where I need to run this application container? Of course, on the operating system. Of course, on the operating system. But container will not have their own operating system. Container no have their own operating system and hardware. Now, how these run, how this application, basically this is application. As I said in the beginning itself, if I want to run the application, I need library dependencies, I need operating system, I need hardware. But container, where is library dependencies? Where is operating system? Where is hardware? As I said, there is no hardware, there is no operating system, there is no library and dependencies. Library and dependencies are packaged within the container. So library and dependencies are packaged within the container. You got one answer. Library and dependencies are packaged on one another. Here on the container, one more very interesting thing here. And this library and dependencies are independent. This library and dependencies are independent on the operating system. So means for Linux, you need same library and dependency, same package will work, same container package will work. For Windows, same package will work. On a Mac OS, same package will work. You no need different application package for a different version of operating system. First thing. Second thing, what about operating system and hardware? Now this Docker, what this, as I said, container will not have their own operating system and hardware. What this container will have? Container will have their own engine. What is that engine? Is Docker engine. If I'm talking about Docker engine, or if I'm talking about journal, if I say, because there are many organizations who is providing containerization. So Docker is one of the containerization tool who is providing, one of the organization who is providing containerization. So what this containerization technology will work? Something like this. They will have an engine. Now what this engine will do? Engine will directly virtualize operating system, directly interact with the kernel of the operating system. If engine will directly interact with the kernel of the operating system, is whatever the component this required, container required to run, it will run on a host itself. Host itself means, suppose what I'm doing here, I'm creating a container of application. I'm creating a container here in my laptop. So what this container will do? Container no have their own operating system and hardware. Now what this container will do? Container will directly will be created within my host operating system and hardware. It will take my laptop operating system and hardware straight away. Whatever the configuration I have, it will occupy my configuration here. We no need different things to install here. That is the understanding here. Let me repeat here. It's very, very important. Whenever I'm talking about container here, why containerization? What is the containerization here? If I'm talking about container here, to run any application, what we need? We need, if I want to run the application, I need a library and dependencies, and I need operating system, plus I need hardware. This is my requirement here. So if I'm taking library and dependencies, this library and dependencies will depend upon different operating system, whether this is a Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. For different operating system, library and dependencies will be entirely different. Now another thing here. As I said, hypervisor, we need to understand the virtualization here. Virtualization means hypervisor came into the market. What this hypervisor did, it provided virtualization on a hardware level. It virtualizes hardware level. Why it virtualizes hardware? Because we was wasting our hardware resources. So we should utilize our 100% of hardware resources. To utilize our 100% of the hardware resources, what we need hypervisor. They are providing virtualization on hardware level. So whatever the resources we was wasting, those was not wasted. This thing. Then other thing here, there is other drawback of virtualization here. Other drawback means we are virtualizing only hardware. We are not virtualizing operating system. So whenever we are creating VM is one of the example. Whenever we are taking VM here, we need a different operating system for different VM here. So what is the problem here? Licensing. So we need to put a costing for the licensing. Of course, we need to put money for the licensing there. Operating system licensing is not for free. Again, we reached there where we was before. Now, containerization came into the market because of this drawback here. Now, what this containerization is doing, container will not have their own operating system and hardware. Library and dependencies by default, that will be packaged within the container. First thing. Second thing, container will have their own engine. What this engine will do, engine will directly interact with the kernel of the operating system. Which operating system? Host operating system. I want to create Docker container in my laptop. What this container will do, directly it will interact. What this container, what I need to do before I need to get into the container, I need to start the Docker engine. I need to start the Docker engine. What this Docker engine will do, directly it will interact with the kernel of the operating system. Means I am authorized, I am eligible to start the containers here. This we have to understand. Fair enough, like this. Another thing here. Now let's get into more deeper now. First of all, let's understand, if I'm talking about containers here, what we are discussing about Docker. We are discussing about Docker. What Docker is doing? Docker is one of the platform who is providing containerization of application containers. I can say a Docker, I can say a container as well. On this technology, this Docker is working. Docker is organization, guys. So like this. Now we need to understand the necessity of first necessity we understood. Second necessity, let's understand the second thing here. You need to understand what is the difference between monolithic and microservices. If I'm talking two things here, do you people have idea what is a monolithic application, monolithic architect and microservices architect? Anyone have idea? This is a monolithic one.
Yeah, front end, back end, and database together are called monolithic.
Abhishek is there, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you was before, right? Yeah. Please go on. This is monolithic architect means front end, back end, and yeah. Please complete your sentence. Then I'll get into.
Front end, back end, and database are together is called monolithic.
Okay, monolithic and
in the microservices, front end, back end, and database, those are divided into parts. Like for front end, we can use React.js and Node.js, and for the back end, we can use Python or .NET. For the database, we can use SQL or any other database. So it is divided.
Abhishek, you are almost there. Okay, good to go.
Yeah.
Now, nice. Now, see, if I'm saying about monolithic here, monolithic means this is the old architect, still we are using, right? Something like testing we are using, right? Testing is not very much required, but still we are using. Manual testing people are doing nowadays. I don't know why they are doing, but still they are doing. If I'm talking about front end, back end, and DB, what I'm doing here, I'm doing a front end, back end, and DB here, monolithic one. This is my complete package of application. What I'm doing here, I'm monolithic means I'm creating one single packet of front end, back end, and DB database here. Any kind of front end means there will be any kind of languages, of course, will be created from the different languages, different versions. Back end means there will be different, database will be different. Means monolithic means there will be one single packet of complete application. Single package of complete application. This is my monolithic one. Microservices here means now see this technology introduced here now. This architect shifted from monolithic to microservices here. What is microservices here? For front end, we are creating micro component. Means we can create front end by using microservices. Okay. Something like this. Microservices means I'm using React.js, Node.js, Angular, or okay. What I'm using here, I'm using Node.js here. What I'm using here, Node.js to create what? One of the front end. So something like this. I'm creating some front end here by what I thought. By using Node, what I can do? By using Node, I can create a better front end. I can use Angular as well. What I can use Angular as well. These are different here, guys. Okay. Other than this, I can use Flutter for mobile application here. Flutter is one of them. So what I can do, basically, I'm creating what I'm creating here. Basically, what I'm doing, I'm creating a front end by using different services here. What I created micro component of front end. Same I'll do for the back end. But what I need a backend here. Backend, I can create microservices of Python. I can create by using .NET. I can create by using PHP. So whatever you feel comfortable, PHP or Java. People are crazy about Java. Good technology. So Java, you can create a backend by using Java. You can create by using PHP. You can create by using .NET as well. So whichever you feel, something like this. Then database, what you can do? You can use a Redis, you can use a SQL, MySQL, MongoDB, MariaDB, whatever you want to use. Basically, what you'll use a DB. DB means microservices of DB as well. You'll use. So architect shifted from here. What is the necessity? Now see microservices here, DB. I'm just taking a DB here, a database. So microservices here. Actually, this is complete application. Like this is my complete application here. But I need to join this together, right? What this is will be my front end, right? What this will be my front end here, user interface, something like this will be my user interface. Request will come from here. Of course, they are interconnected with each other. These microservices are interconnected with each other, right? Then only they will talk with each other. If they are not interconnected, how they will talk with each other? This is our application architect, which we shifted from monolithic to microservices. Now, what is the advantage and disadvantage of monolithic and microservices here? If I'm saying about monolithic one here, monolithic one, we are creating complete package of front end, back end, and DB. This is my complete package, one single package. There is a problem in database. There is a problem in database, and I'm giving this application to the end user. We are dealing with the banking application. This we are giving to the end user. Now we have some problem in DB. What we need to do? What we have here? We have a single packet of complete application. What we have to do? We have to take down full applications. Because this is a single packet, single server. We have to take full application. It's not like we need to take, we have to take full application. Just think like this. We have to take down full server. What will be the case here? End user will face the downtime on that respective duration of time. If you are going to the SBI, State Bank of India especially, what they are saying, sir, my server is not working. Whether their server are working or not, they are giving this excuse, right? So this is the meaning of this one. Means there will be a downtime here. Why? Because architect is monolithic one. Coming to a microservices here, microservices means we are divided services into the micro component here. What is the specialty here? We can use the different languages to create what we can use. We can use different languages to create the microservices. Other than this, we can create a different. Other than this, what we need to understand here now, suppose my backend is not working, which I created from the .NET. So what I need to do, I no need to take down my full application. I just need to take down this. So whatever the task we have performed by using .NET here, that will be affected. Other than this, your end application will work. If your customer is coming to you, what you can say, sir, this is not working. If you give me another, if you want to perform other operation, you can perform. We are working on that. Something like this, chicken tikka masala is not here. We don't have chicken tikka masala today. Tomorrow we will have because chicken is not there. Right? Something like this here. .NET is not here because this application, these services will be affected. There will not be end application downtime to the external user. That we need to understand. This architect is looking very good. Now one more thing here, containers. We are into container. We are not into application architect. We are into a container here. Now, if I'm talking about containers here, now containerizing these microservices is very, very easy. Like this. Providing separate environment. What container is doing? Container is creating one complete package of what? Source code, library, and dependencies. Complete package of source code, library, and dependencies. And putting this into a separate environment to run. Providing separate environment. What microservices is doing? Microservices is doing the same. So containerizing these microservices is very, very easy. Because of that reason, containerization tool came into the market and it became and it's becoming more famous. So necessity of containerization became very high because rise of microservices. I can say rise of architect from monolithic to microservices here. Containerizing microservices is very, very easy. So because of that reason, what we are doing, containerization, we're providing containerization. What is the definition of containers? Docker here. Docker is OS level virtualization. One of the definition I can say. What Docker is doing, container, providing services on container. What container is doing? Container is providing separate environment for application to run. Container is providing separate environment for our application to run. This we have to understand from here. This is very basic. Now other thing here. Now I'm talking as of now what I'm saying about the container here. I'm talking about container here. And how we are going to run this container? We are going to run this container from the one specialized thing. We are going to package this container in the form of layer. What we are going to do now, see, we are going to package this container in the form of layer like this, layer by layer, layer by layer, layer by layer. And that layered architect is called image. That layered architect is called image. We are going to do what? We are going to put this container in the form of image. These are image. We are going to put this container in the form of image. And after, now this is my image. From this image, what is this image? This is image are in the form of template, layered by layer, layer by layer. What this actually is? Actually, this is a complete package of application here. For the transportation, we are going to use. And what about container? We are going to run container from the image. How many of you have seen the transformer? Transformer part, any part? Have you seen the transformer part? Vishwa have seen, I guess. Umesh too, I guess. Umesh too is too young for transformer, I guess. Have you seen the transformer movie, guys? Vishwa?
Yes,
Have you
Pawan.
seen?
Yes,
Yeah. In transformer, right? Think like this. In transformer, what they are doing? They are in the form of car, right? They are roaming like a car in the, on earth. What? How they are roaming? They are roaming like a car, right? Right? If they are roaming like a car means what? They cannot do anything. Means they are an image. Why they are roaming like a car? For the transportation, they are going from here to there, there to here, there to here, right? Image is the same. If you are transporting your, what you are transporting? You are transporting your application within the image here and there. I want to send this image where? To the Vishwa or to the Umesh. What I'll do here, I'll send from here for the transportation. But the time they will convert into the transformer, then action starts. Same here. The time this image converts into the container, your application will run. Your application starts. Your end process starts. So whatever the task you want to perform, you can perform the task here. You cannot perform the task on an image because this is a template, just a template for transportation. Means this is a car here. Please remember this transformer thing here. These are car here. They are roaming here and there. That's it. They will not do any action. Action will start when this car will convert into the transformer. When this image will convert into the container. Whatever the end thing you want to configure, you want to see the user interface, each and everything. You have a banking application, insurance application, any sort of application. So that will run within the containers here. Image are the template in the form of layer, layer by layer architect here. And when you convert image into the container, then you can configure this thing here. Then how to work on a container? Okay, this is looking very nice. Containerization technology is looking very nice. How this containerization, how to install the container, how to work on a container environment, right? How to work on a container environment. First thing here is, please check first thing you need to check here, right click, task manager. Please go to the task manager. Shortcut, what is the shortcut for task manager? Anyone knows that? Control Alt Delete. This is the shortcut. Okay. This is the shortcut if you are aware, or otherwise they provided. Before it was not like this here on the task. It was not like this. Now it's like this. What you need to do, first thing, whenever we are installing our Docker here, we are going to install Docker in our window environment. I'll show you people how to install Docker on a Linux environment too. But please understand here. What you need to do, just right click here, go to the task manager, go to the performance here. Please check your virtualization here, the bottom here. Can you see this thing here? Virtualization here. Virtualization has to be enabled on your system. What Docker will do? Docker will provide the virtualization. If you are not allowing this Docker to provide virtualization here, it will not perform the virtualization. We will not be able to perform the task of a Docker here. So what we need to do? We need to provide virtualization first. As we are providing virtualization, this need to be enabled. If this is not enabled, what you need to do? You need to go to the BIOS, voice input and output system. How many of you are aware about voice?
Pawan, to install VMware, virtualization should be on or not required?
Virtualization has to be enabled. Okay.
For VMware.
This has to be, now see, virtualization has to be enabled. Okay. Enabled means virtualization, VM, whatever you are doing. See, virtualization means what? Right? Virtualization means providing separate environment for your app. Virtualization is what? We are talking about virtualization, right? I discussed already about this thing, right? So virtualization has to be enabled here. Okay. Please understand. If this is not enabled in your case, some of your case, what will be there? This will be disabled. If this is disabled means what you need to do? BIOS, you need to go to the voice input and output system. How many of you are aware about BIOS? Anybody are aware about voice input and output system? What do people need to do according to your laptop? Okay, according to your system, there will be a voice configuration here. You can search on the internet. I'm not going that with that deep. If you're facing difficulty, please call me directly. Don't worry. Okay, what do you need to do here? You need to go to the BIOS. BIOS means in Lenovo, it's I think F10. You need to press the key. It will take you to the BIOS. There, what you need to do? You need to enable this. If this is disabled here, this you have to enable. First thing, performance. This cross check this one. This has to enable. And second thing, how to install Docker in your system. How to install Docker in your window environment. We are understanding how to install the Docker into window environment. What I need to do? And what is your, and anyone, all of you are using window, right? Abdullah, what you are using?
Windows.
Yeah. What about Mr.
Windows
Chandra?
11.
Yeah. Abhishwa, what do you
Windows,
using? Okay. All are using window, right? Umesh, what you are using? So I think all are using window. So I'll show you people how can be installed on a window environment. Now, like this, what I'm doing here, I'm going to the Google. Please search whenever you are searching something, search from the Google. Your search results will be very, very relevant. Search results will be very, very relevant here. What I'm doing here, install Docker on Windows. Just search like this. Docker on window, go to the install Docker on this one here. You will see something like this here. After seeing something like this here, what do you need to do? Change the environment here. If I'll go to the install part here, if I'll go to the window here like this, you can install on a Docker desktop for window x6086 or whatever environment you think like. ARM beta here, go with the x86. So it will install, I think this is around, around 500 MB. This will be around 500 MB. Like this, you need to install. First process, go to the Docker desktop. Here, Docker desktop for window, install this one. First condition is virtualization has to be enabled. So it will take some time here, 377, 87 here like this. It's very high-end technology. Please pay 100% of the concentration if you want to earn some good bucks. If you want to earn some good thing here, this technology is the future, which you need to learn. So this is not installed properly here as of now, not installed. In just a second, it will take some time. I need to go to the download part here. Yeah, I think done. Okay, please wait for some time here. Don't just be in a hurry worry. Okay, like this. It's installed here. Just double click on this one here. No need to perform anything. Please don't perform anything. Just double click once. Don't double click twice. Otherwise, your two processes will start at the same time. So it will occupy your system. It will slow down your system. So like this, what it will do? Like this. Docker desktop initializing. And one more important thing here, you want to replace the version 4.29 to 30. Yes, I already have Docker installed here. Okay, I'm replacing this version. What is the current version here? 4.32 here. I'm replacing this current version here. And one more thing here, I forgot to mention this thing here. Your C drive, wherever you are installing Docker desktop, it should have at least 20 gig free. What it should have? It should have at least 20 GB free. I'm talking about this drive here. So I'm going to this one here. If I'll go to the property here, you need to check how much I have free. I have free here 26 point something. I have this free here. So now what it will do, it will install something like this. This process will start. You people can start installing Docker desktop at the same time. Okay, you people can start installing. No need to wait for me. Like this. This is the process how we install. What we are doing, we are installing Docker desktop. If you guys have any question, you people can ask me the question. This will take time actually. This will take time at least 10 minutes. Depend upon your system, how good your system are. So this will start Docker desktop here. It will take time. Unpacking the file, of course, that is a packaged one. It will unpack, then it will install step by step. What we are doing, we are installing Docker desktop here, something like this. What we are doing, we are installing Docker desktop here, something like this. It's showing me this one here is showing me this before because I have installed before. Now what I did, I removed this one. I'm creating a new one like this. If you guys have any sorts of question, you can ask me the question. It will take some time. This installation will take some time. It's unpacking the file here. Abhishek, what about you? Have you installed Docker desktop before or not? Is this your first time? I think this is your second time you're learning, right?
Yeah, I already have used the commands also.
Okay, okay. Do you have Docker desktop installed? Have, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is helpful for you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, you other people can install the Docker desktop same time here. Now this is a time taken process because as you can see here, right? This is a parallel window. Can say we are installing parallel window in our system. Like how much? This is around 600 MB, right? 600, 500 MB, around 473 something. So means this is quite heavy. What we are doing, we are installing this in our system. So unpacking the file, installing and unpacking the file here. Yeah, this is successfully installed here. Hope so this will not restart, otherwise it will be problem for me. So what he's saying, installation is succeeded here. If I close here means it's okay, right? It's not giving me to restart. In your case, it will give you for restart. Actually, you need to restart the system, then it will now see something like this Docker desktop. If I'll double click here, just double click here once, okay? Don't double click more than once. If you're double clicking more than once, as I said, more than one process will start. So it will slow down your system. In some cases, it will hang your system. Your system configuration is not good. Now, please keep your eye here. Now, what this Docker desktop is doing? It is starting Docker engine. Abhishek, what Docker engine will do?
Yeah, Docker
What this
engine
Docker
will
desktop is doing? Docker
yeah,
desktop.
it will initiate the virtualization.
It will initiate the virtualization, but how exactly process is? It will interact with the kernel of the operating system,
With the
right?
operating system. Yeah.
Right. Whatever the container we are going to create, where those container will be created?
In the command line of
In
the
the
Windows
desktop
system.
itself, right? In the host itself, right? If I'm creating the containers, that will be created in my laptop, right? Because my laptop is my host here. If your host is server, where that will be created? In your server, right? Container. Understood or not? So it will take some time. Starting the Docker engine here. Am I audible to you guys? Confirm me once, please.
Yeah, this
Yes.
will take more time than the installation.
Depends upon your system.
Yes,
Sometime it
yes.
will take less time. Sometime it will take
Yeah, it
more time.
took me around 15 minutes.
No, no, it will not take this much. Shouldn't take this much. Depend upon your system configuration, what sort of system configuration you have. If you are running many processes, of course, your process will be slow, delay. Start the Docker desktop. Now this Docker desktop will start the Docker engine. So whatever the task we want to perform, it will perform the task straight away. Now see, like this. These are my old container. These are nice. You can see here. These are what containers. These are my container here. Let me delete those. These are my container here. And if I have images, I will be able to see the images. These are my images. These are what? These are my images. Volume here. Now one more time, one more takeaway here. Container means how we are going to create the container. We are going to create the container from the image. What images are? Images are in the form of template, in the form of layer, layer by layer. From the image, what is the image? Image we are going to use for the transportation, one place to another. If I want to transport my application from one place to another, I will use image. Container means runtime for complete application here. Done. Then practice wise, what we can do here? Practice wise, what we can do here? Create one folder named Docker. I have already here actually. I already have a folder. Please create one folder on a desktop. Just create a just create a simple this here like this. Create one folder name called Docker here. Open the CLI command line interface. You can open any. Entirely up to you guys. You people are boss to decide. So you can use any one of the terminal. What I'm using a command prompt here. Using a command prompt here. Any terminal you can use like this. What I'll do here, I'll do a docker hyphen version here. It will give me docker version, whatever the version we have installed. What is the version here? We have a docker version called 27.0.3. I installed 33 point something. I think I installed 23 something, 20, 32 something. After restarting, I think it will upgrade. I think before I had a 24 point something, I think. So now it installed me 27 something. So like this, Docker.
When it will upgrade itself, or we can do
It will
manually
upgrade itself actually because I have installed, right? I have performed my task. It's his responsibility now to perform the task. I need to
automatic.
start
Okay.
usually. And then I'm talking about image here. We need to understand one more important place here. I'm talking about what? I'm talking about image. Where we can find the image, we can find the image in one place that is called Docker Hub. Docker Hub is officially maintained by whom? Officially maintained by the Docker. This is a hub registry. Here you will find different type of images. Please, you need to do a sign in here. You need to do a sign up here. Sign up means please create one account here or otherwise. This is the process of creating the account. I am creating one account here or you can log in by using this here like this. Continue. Sign into. Now see hub.docker. Access denied. Back to the home page. What is this? Please sign into the password. Complete verification here. So like this, please create one account. So we found an existing Docker account with this one. Please sign in by using the complete verification process. Back to a home page. We already have this account created. I already created one. That's why it's giving me this one. What I need to do in place of sign up, I need to do a sign in. In place of sign up, I need to do a sign in here. What is doing? Now see, I'm clicking on sign in, is not giving me sign in. UI, user interface. Whatever we are seeing in front of us, that is a user interface, UI. What do people need to do? Please create one account here. What you need to do? You need to create one account here. It's giving me attention here now. Okay. What I need to do? I need to change this thing incognito mode. I have other option as well. So this is not a single option I have. I have other option as well. Where I can go to there. I have many account here. This is my other account. What you need to do? Please create one account in a Docker Hub. You need to create a one account in a Docker Hub. What Docker Hub is? Docker Hub is one of the registry where we have different images here. What we have a different images. If I click on sign in here, we'll be able to create on sign in. Continue with the Google. Continue. hub.docker.com like this. If I go to the explore section, in explore section, what will be there? There will be different images on different things here. So many. Familiarity with the dashboard again. You people need to spend some time here. If you want to see the images related to machine learning, if you want to related most pulled images, how many I pulled here, each and everything, database images, monitoring images. These are the images different here. Gradle was Selenium here, different here. Postgres, MySQL, MongoDB, MariaDB, Node, Nginx here. I'm a big fan of Nginx here, Python, Postgres. Right? These are the different images what we have here. Or if I get into the most pulled one here, I'll go to the Alpine one here. I need a lightweight image. These are different images here. If I click on view all, so it will show me all the images. What are, how many images? Now see, these many images we have here, 5,900 available for the result. They are looking for what? These are my Jupyter. We are looking only for the machine learning type of images. According to that, it's showing me these. If I'm going filtering operating system or Linux, it will filter like this. You can filter these things here. These are different images what we have here. Or let me go back. Please spend some time here. It will be very, very helpful for you people. If I go to the Nginx here, I'm going to the image called Nginx here. You can see here how many download, 1 billion plus, almost equal to our population. Abhishek, what is our population? 1.50, right?
1.50.
Right, approximately. So something like this. These many people downloaded this. So how many bookmarks here? This is the bookmarks here. This is how we are going to get. If I'm talking tagging, please remember, whenever I'm talking about tagging in case of our Docker environment, tagging means different version of this application. This is different version. Now see, this is my image. From the image, what we are doing? From the image, we are creating the container. From the image, we are creating the container. And now see, this is the different version of this image. So this is the different version of this image here. Now see, you can spend some time here. Please be familiar with the dashboard. I want you people to be professor in this dashboard things here. Like this, you people need to be familiar with what are the things here. Just spend some time here. Please search for the different images here. I think there will be hundreds of images here. So many images are here. So depend upon different front end, back end, and database. Now something like this, if I want to, I like this image, Nginx. What I want to do, I want to pull this image. What I'll do, Docker pull Nginx. What I'll do, I'll pull the image. Docker pull Nginx here, right click here, I'll pull the image like this. In the form of layer by layer, as I said, in the form of layer by layer. Latest, now see, pulling in the form of layer by layer, as I said. It's pulling in the form of layer by layer because images are in the form of layer by layer. It's pulling from where? It's pulling from the registry, from the hub, like this. See, if I do a Docker images here means I will be able to see the images. Done. This is my image. What is the image name? Nginx. Repository is Nginx. What is the tag? Tag means version. Version is latest one. What is the image ID? This is the by default image ID will be generated and created 7 week ago. Don't worry, this is not created 7 week ago. This is created long time back, but they have done versioning. Versioning means slight modification into previous build. They have done slight modification into the source code of this. When? 7 week ago. This is what we have. Size is 188 MB. I don't want latest tag. What I don't want, Mr. Avish, I want latest tag. So what I'll do here, I'll do the same here, like this, Docker pull, upper arrow will show you previous used command. If you want the latest tag means, if you want other tag here means, you just need to put a colon here like this. Just put a colon and check for the version, whatever the version you have here. What I want this version here, any version here. I want this mainline Perl here. I want mainline Perl here. If I want mainline Perl here means, what do you need to do? Just copy. Please don't go to the link here. Just copy here. And copy is not possible. I'm taking Perl here. It's very easy for me to write. That's why. Perl here. I'm going to the version called Perl here. Now see, it will install the Perl version here now. See? Now what it's saying here, images will be in the form of layer by layer. Now from where we are installing? We are installing from the registry to our local. If you are installing from registry to our local, what will be the thing here? Now this is installing. Why it's showing you already existed here? Because these layers are similar to previous image, whatever the image we have installed. These are similar. That's why it's not installing those, because this is already available locally. This is already available locally. So because of that reason, it's not installing this one. It pulled this one here. If I'll go to the Docker images here, keep your eye here. What we have, which version we have? We have a version called Perl here. And what is the image ID? This is our image ID 2 months ago. As I shared already, this is my image size here. I'm talking about complete application, only 200 GB, only 200 MB. See, so very huge thing here. Compressed archive means compacted. For transportation, size will be very, very less. Size are very, very less of the images. So like this. If you want to run the container out of this, what is the command here? If I do a Docker run here, what Docker run here? I'm doing a Docker run of Nginx. My image will convert into the container straight away. My image will convert into the container. Now see, my container is running. My container is running. So tomorrow we will get more deeper into this one. I am keeping till here. Please practice. We are in beginning stage now. Please practice. If you're facing any difficulty, just write it down in a book. You can ask me in the class itself. If you guys have any sorts of question, please ask me the question. Otherwise, I'll catch you people tomorrow. I'll upload this session within some time. Actually, it will take some time to convert. I'll upload this session. And please practice. Please install Docker Desktop first requirement. Any question here? Vishwa, any question? Abhishek, Mr. Chandu, Abdullah?
No problem.
Pawan, do we have a class tomorrow?
I think it's better to take a class. What do you think, guys?
Yes, we can take.
Yeah, I think let's do,
we
right? Let's learn, earn more money so I can take party from you people. Not to Vishwa, you are staying very far. More ticket expenses will be very high.
Yeah.
Pawan,
Okay,
hello?
guys. Yeah, Abhishek, yeah.
Suppose we want to run a container with a particular version, so that is available in the hub also. So with the Docker run command also we can run that, or in Docker pull also we can run that.
No,
So what is
straight
the
away you
difference?
cannot run that. Straight away you cannot run that, Mr. Abhishek. Now see, you're asking me a question, right? It got
Yes.
hanged actually. I think this terminal knows Abhishek is asking me question. Now see, if I go to the Docker images, right? What it's giving me? Now it's giving me 2 version of image, right?
Yes,
This
sir.
version of image. What do you want? What Abhishek want? Abhishek want to run container out of particular version. I want to run a container out of this version. What I need to do? What I'll do here? I'll do a Docker run and I'll use image ID. You can run the container from the image. You can run the container from the image ID. First 2 letters is more than enough. You don't need to write more than 2. Or sometime it will not. Now done. Abhishek got me?
Yes, got it.
Okay.